Hello, we are live. I wanted to jump on a little bit early today because you guys were on the ball yesterday. Let's get positioned here. My crazy office. When you get joined in, comment and let me know you're here. I'm so excited to talk about all the things and to do this awkward small talk at the beginning again. It's honestly my favorite part. Can you tell I'm joking? Okay, good. Looks like we have two people here. Give me a comment below and let me know that you're here. Hey, Brooke, good to hear from you. Oh, I so loved the coffee that we had. I'm glad you're here listening to this. This is great. So, as I attempt to make a little bit of small talk, as I said yesterday in the live, that I'm not very good at that, but we're going to practice this week at the small talk while people join into the live and not be my natural awkward self, just a little bit awkward. So yeah, last night I felt like the live went so good. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much, but I was really hoping to get across a good message that could set everybody down the right path. So I think it went really well. I had a lot of great feedback today. Hey Heather, so great to see you. Oh, I'm so glad we have some different people joining in today too from last night. That's exciting. So exciting. Yeah, so as I was saying, small talk sucks, but yeah, I got off the live and I was super pumped up about all the comments I was getting in, and people were messaging me to my phone and letting me know how great it was and how much they needed to hear some of those things, and that got me really, really excited. So I'm hoping that every night this week is going to be the same type of energy brought to the table, and I can teach some awesome things that you guys can put into your business immediately. So, yeah, we did dinner last night, like typical. We cook almost every night. If nobody knows this about me, being a creative is really hard because you have clients kind of dictating your creativity all day long if you're doing it for work. And I like to find things that I can do that allow me to be creative and inventive that don't necessarily have money or a client attached to it. That's just a way that I can kind of get out some creativity. So I found a huge passion in cooking, and we love to do that. My husband and I love to do that together. So that's what we did last night after the live, and that's what we'll do tonight. So tonight we're making chicken lettuce wrap tacos with mango salsa. I made up the salsa last night, so not that I'm rushing this live, but I'm really excited about the salsa that's in the fridge. So, yeah, while we wait on a couple other people to join in, I would love to know, Brooke and Heather, since I know for sure that you guys are on, if you were able to watch the video from last night, or if you're going to be playing catch up after this. And if you were able to watch it, I would love to know what your goal for your sales funnel is, if you have one of those in mind. Or if you want to comment while people are joining in, I can help you figure out what that goal is. Super exciting. I was excited to see even this morning people were rewatching the live from last night and commenting what their goal is. It's really exciting because some people are really precise about it and some are more general goals. And that's the cool part about a sales funnel, is that you can adapt it to be really anything that you want it to be, which is hard starting out because you have to pick a goal to start with. But they're so great at being adaptable. I understand that, being interrupted by the family. Um, Hey Melanie, so good to see you. You did pick a goal. You commented it today. Let me see if I remember. Um, Getting more people into your VIP group. Am I right? I think I'm right. So, yeah, that's such a fantastic goal. That's a great example of a goal to hit. We have a few more people joining in. Hey, you guys, let me know who's here, and if you've set a goal already for your sales funnel. We're kind of talking about that while we wait on everybody to get settled and tune in. I know last night I was having technical difficulties, so I like to give everybody a little bit of a grace on a timed live and not just jump in too soon. Um, because you just never know what will happen. Even sometimes us techie web designers have technical difficulties getting on live. So yeah, Melanie, I'm really excited about putting more people into your VIP group. That'll be great. Hey Lisa, so good to have you back today. I'm really excited about that. I'm thinking that the goal is to get more online sales, but let me know in the comments if that's not the goal that you set. Um, yeah, I'm really excited to walk you guys through all of this. I know it can probably be a little bit overwhelming, and don't remember. I do that too. My days really run together, especially working from home. Like I've worked from home forever, but this whole not booking meetings with outside people, and even yesterday at the beginning of the live, Stephen was like, "Why are you so dressed up to hang out in our house tonight?" It's like I'm talking to a bunch of people on video. It's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, the days just really run together. So I'm so excited about all of this content, but I am so not naive to the fact that I've been working on developing my career for years and I consume content like it's water. Probably I consume more content probably than water. My husband will comment and say that that's the truth. But I just love to read and learn new things, and I'm a really big nerd like that. But I know that I'm kind of rare when it comes to some of that stuff. So I don't want this content to be overwhelming for you guys. I was saying yesterday, but if you weren't there, listen to it, give it a good listen, let some of it absorb in, but know that if you don't walk away like being the master of sales funnels, I don't expect that at all. I just want you to walk away with some tips that could help better your business, because that's what I love to see. Any sort of small businesses growing and changing and bettering themselves is like, gets my heart. Oh, perfect. Bridal registry setup, Lisa. That's fantastic. I know we've talked a little bit about that in the past, and that's an amazing goal. And honestly, sales funnels to get bridal registry set up is fantastic. If you do this work now, when you're ready to launch that section of your website, you'll already be ready to try to put brides into those bridal registries, which is fantastic. For those of you who don't know, Lisa has an awesome store in Elk City, and bridal registries are a big part of her business. So I'm excited, so excited about all of these things, and I'm really excited about all of you guys' goals. So I did write down a few that people commented in the group. So if you're still kind of contemplating what should the goal of my sales funnel be, I have a couple of examples to share if you haven't been stalking the group as much as I do. One of them, actually, I think two or three different people said to grow their email list. And sales funnels are such a great way to grow email list. When we get into a lead generator, you'll really start to see that picture painted of how you can use these tools to grow your email list. It's an amazing tool. Okay, Courtney, that's fantastic. Yeah, leading the right customers who are ready to buy into your store. That is such a good point to make because so many people, um, to be honest, kind of waste your time if they come in or they maybe make an appointment, but they don't really understand what you have to offer, and they come in and they spend a lot of time with you and then they don't buy anything. It's really disappointing. So, using a sales funnel to get the right buyers is amazing. And when you get clarity around the information that you're putting out, that's going to be a huge game changer for you too. Actually, I think today is going to be really informative for you, Courtney. I know how that goes working with some of those techie web people. I try to break it down and not get too much into the tech when I talk to my clients because I know that it's really overwhelming. So, several people said, we want to grow our email list. That's an amazing goal to have. Ashley actually said that she wants to build her client base, but as her and I were talking back and forth, I asked her, which client base are you looking to build? And that's a huge designation too, because she has different types of clients within her business. She is a photographer, an amazing photographer in the more Norman area, and she does newborns. And she's, I think, recently, correct me if I'm wrong on that if you're here, Ashley, getting into boudoir too. And sometimes that's the same customer, but oftentimes that's not the same customer, or at least not at the same time. You're not having a baby and then going to do a lingerie session like in a span of a couple months from each other, usually. And that's an important designation to make, that her customers may be kind of different from each other. Brooke, that's a great thing to point out for your business too. Someone who comes to you for one type of law might be different than someone who's estate planning. So if your customers are different in different areas, two sales funnels really may be the way to go. So when Ashley and I kind of chatted it out in the comments today, I recommended, you should look at one sales funnel just for boudoir and one for newborn. And that seems really daunting right now because I haven't taught you guys all the things. But once you have the knowledge down pat, you'll be able to step back to square one and redo this all over again. It'll be easy. Or at least you'll be able to do the parts you feel comfortable with and feel good about bringing someone in to help you with the other parts. You'll know what your goal is. Driving traffic to online stores. We had a lot of really great goals in the group. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in since this has been about 10 minutes. What we're going to talk about today is one of my favorite things because my husband will tell you that I often like to tell people what to do because I feel like that lack of honesty is a really big deal in communities now. And that everyone wants to kind of dance around subjects and never be really clear with the direction that they really strongly feel that someone should take. So I try to be the opposite of that and be nice but honest with my feedback that I give to people. And today is amazing for that because in your one-liner, we're not talking about being cutesy. We're not talking about a catchy tagline or the opening of a movie sentence. We're talking about something that is clear and concise and tells people what it is that you do. And that's really important because you don't want to muddy the water. You don't want people finding you online and then being like, oh, I think they're the right fit for me. So then you have a consultation with them and you spend hours and you take the time to give them a quote or try to point them towards products on your website that might be a good fit. And they're actually not your right customer at all because they didn't from the get-go really understand what it is that you do. So this is such an important thing to talk about, and I'm really excited about it if you can't tell. So I'm going to read the definition here. So a one-liner is a short sentence or two that sums up what you have to offer, and it also includes a hook to grab somebody's attention. The goal is to be clear and concise. So how the heck do you create that, right? You're like, that sounds great, I want that. But how do you actually get there? That's what we're going to talk about. So the first step is to pull in your customer's problems. So we're going to talk about the problems that your customer faces. Now, I work with several business owners who really have trouble getting in the mindset of their customer. And one thing I like to do is think right now of your favorite customer, of the person that you love to work with, somebody who's been buying from you for a long time. Think of that person. Even take out a notepad and write down their name. I will do this sometimes when I write content. I'll pull up the Facebook profile of one of my favorite clients and I'll write posts as if I'm trying to get their attention. And it makes such a huge difference. So right now, think of someone who's your favorite person. And we're going to think about the problems that that person faces. So why do we start with a problem in a one-liner? We start with a problem because this is where the hook comes in. It's almost like every good movie starts with the, car chase in the beginning or the something dramatic that happens, or they're talking about how she's so lonely and she can't find a husband yet, or whatever the rom-com problems are, right? And it's really interesting because what that does is it opens up this story loop in your mind where you're thinking, okay, now we need to solve that problem. We're natural problem solvers. And when we hear the problem stated, we're all thinking, now what's the solution? So let's start with the problem. So many amazing ways of doing this, and it brings value to what you do to talk about their problems and not just talk about you all the time. I said this last night in the live, but it's really important that you remember that people buy when they feel safe and understood, not necessarily when they understand you. So we're going to flip the script and we're going to talk about them instead of talking about you. Okay, so how do you actually brainstorm and write down the problems that your people face? I like to break this down into 3 different types of problems, and this is taken straight from StoryBrand. If anyone wants to do more reading about this, there's a book called Building a Story Brand. He also has workshops and everything, a podcast, and all the webinars that you can listen to. But he's one of my favorite teachers on this subject. So I like to start with his category of problems. So he breaks down to 3 different problems. Problem types: external, internal, and philosophical. So let's brainstorm for a minute. If you're thinking of that ideal customer that you have in your mind, so for mine, it would be a small business owner who's maybe been doing all the graphic design and marketing themselves, and they're just burnt out at the thought of having to do that. And what are the external problems that those people face? So a couple for me would be that they maybe worked with somebody in the past that didn't deliver. That's a huge one in my industry. I'm talking about flaky web designers and graphic designers. That's a big thing in my industry. But actually, that could hit so many of what you guys do too. Heather, if you don't mind, if you'll comment and tell me what you do, because it's not coming to my mind right now, then I can pull some examples for you too. So Brooke, if that's the case, maybe they hired a lawyer in the past that they're thinking, man, I paid them a lot of money and they just did not deliver for me. It just didn't pay off. I hated the experience of working with them. So in their mind, they think working with all attorneys is bad. It's never going to go well. So that's kind of an example of an external problem. A couple others could be price point. I know we have a couple of life coaches and business coaches in this group. So another one could be that their spouse isn't on board. That's a big one. Especially for coaches, because that's money being pulled out of accounts to pay somebody, and their spouse sometimes, or their business partner, Courtney, I know you have a business partner, that's a big one, has to be on board too. So that's an external problem. A couple other practical ones would be like the driving distance to your location. So if you're talking about brick and mortar stores, Lisa, it may be that person lives in Altus and they really want to buy from you, but they can't. So the answer is your online store. But communicating that to them and saying, we're sympathetic that you can't spend all of your time driving around to stores going shopping. So we have the answers for you. Another one could be like lack of skills or knowledge or ability. This could pull into several different business types. Timing. Actually, Courtney, I did think of you. I'm glad you're on tonight when I wrote this one down, because if you guys don't know, Courtney owns a consignment bridal and formal shop. So a lot of brides have to wait for their dresses to come in. It's a very long waiting process. So if someone's open to the idea of consignment, a selling point for that could be that they don't have such a wait. The timing isn't a problem for them anymore, right? So it's a problem that they face in their life going to other places, but that's actually a really cool one because you have a solution. You have dresses hanging on the rack that are ready to go out the door. Or, with a little bit of tailoring, then it's their perfect dress. And they don't have to wait 6 months for it to come in and be ordered and shipped in from overseas and all of those things. So there's a few external problems, things that are around us that are causing problems in our life. And I sometimes struggle with relating problems to my business until I see them all written down. So I like to brainstorm. I grab a pen and a piece of paper and I'm like, okay, customer ABC, if I'm thinking of you in mind and I'm thinking of the problems that you face, what are all the things that I could write down that would be a problem that you face, whether you have a solution for it in your business right now or not? It's good to know what those problems are. So, going back to Ashley, if you are a newborn photographer, oh my gosh, there's so many problems that new moms face, right? Uncertainty, right now, especially about their kids getting sick, getting out and about, they're unsure, letting someone else like rock your baby to sleep and fold them into those cute little poses is gotta be really daunting. I'm not a mom yet, so I don't know 100%, but I would think that that would worry me. Like, hi, person I just met today, take my child and fold them into cute shapes. That I think would be a problem, like a trust factor. So that one probably is actually internal. So let's get into internal problems. So internal problems could be fear. It could be even as simple as the fear of making the wrong decision. That's big with working with any business. They're choosing to work with you over someone else. So they have limited time, they have limited resources. You know, we like to live in a world of abundance, but that isn't always the case when you drill it down. And if they have limited time and resources, what fear do they have in choosing that you're the right person to work with? That's big. Another internal problem could be stress. They're carrying around a lot of stress. How could you relieve that for them? Missing out on something. This is a big one. This is a big one with kind of every business, with what we all do. A couple of examples I can think of is, you know, missing out on something that they get to have, or even memories that they get to keep. If we take it back to a photographer, you're making memories that will last a lifetime for them. So if they miss out on that, FOMO is big, Stacy. Yes. So if they're missing out on the thing that you have to offer, the end result that they're going to have at the end of working with you, that's big. That's a big thing to talk about because that's a real internal problem that people have. Another one could be being overwhelmed. They're just overwhelmed in general with so many things going on. And you get to lead them down the path that is your sales funnel. But what specifically is causing them to be overwhelmed? What problems are they facing? An internal problem could be confusion. They really don't have the right tools in their back pocket to be able to make an educated decision. Stacy, actually, I think this one could be really big for you. When it comes to confusion, they maybe really want to work with a business coach, but how do you know that that person is the right person for you to work with? They're just confused about the options that are out there. They don't necessarily know how to compare apples to apples. When it comes to deciding to go all in and hire you, that could be a problem that they face. They're just confused. Also confusion around if you're not leading them through the right steps. So if you're never really asking them, click here, fill out this form, schedule an appointment, they're just confused in general on how to even contact you and pay you money. And that's a really big deal. Another internal problem could be that they feel like they don't have what it takes. I hear this one a lot, and that's one of those like deep rooted internal problems, right? They feel like they don't have what it takes. So even something like what Lisa does. Lisa, you're selling, you know, home decor and gift items, and a lot of people get really overwhelmed when it comes to decorating their house. And they feel like they're gonna make a decision. I go in so many friends' houses that have nothing on the walls. No decorations. I get asked all the time, like, hey mom, can you come and help me figure out where to hang what on the walls? It's a really overwhelming decision. So even this, I don't feel like I have what it takes to really decorate my house well. It can be something simple like that, but really the deep-rooted problem there is that they feel like they don't have what it takes. So that's a really big thing to keep in mind. Yes. Okay, Courtney's saying, what if I find a dress that's better for her brides? Right? That's a huge deal. It's that fear of missing out. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. So that's a huge fear as far as shopping for a wedding dress. That's a big fear. Making the decision, like saying yes to any big decision, is a really big deal. So then let's talk about the third category, which is philosophical or big picture problems. I'll be really honest, these were the hard ones for me to come up with. this idea of a huge, big problem that you kind of can't even fathom sometimes. That's the type of philosophical problems that we're talking about. So I wanted to share mine that I came up with the coach that helped me through this. Um, I obviously sell marketing and graphic design services to small business owners. So the three main philosophical problems I came up with were you shouldn't have to do it all on your own as a small business owner in order to be successful. That's a huge philosophical problem. Everyone feels like, well, you own a business, you must be amazing at everything, which is so not true, right? You own a business because you're passionate about something, but that doesn't mean you know how to do everything. That's why we're all here watching this live, because I know one thing that you guys don't, but you know 100 things that I don't. Right? So that's a big philosophical problem that the world kind of thinks that business owners just know everything and that they should know how to do it. So you shouldn't have to do it all on your own as a small business owner to be successful. Even when it comes to your time, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to work a million hours every day in order to get things done just because you're a small business owner. So you're hurting or whatever the world wants to think, right? Um, the other one I wrote down was you should be known for who you really are. I think that's big. A lot of people are amazing at the thing that they do, but they don't know how to communicate the thing that they do amazing to everyone else, so they're not known for it. They're not known for that thing that makes them special. And I feel like that's a huge philosophical problem. They should be known for that. Everyone should be recognized for their gifts and their talents that they have and the thing that makes them special. The third one that I wrote down is it's just not right that you have an awesome product and or service that isn't known. So a little bit more about the products and services that they offer. But to be honest, I run into people all the time who have invented like a really cool product and nobody knows about it. And I just think that that's wrong. That's a philosophical problem. And they're thinking that same thing too. They're like, oh, I thought if I invented the really cool gold pin that all the pieces would just fall into place. And sadly, that's just not how the world works. But that's a big philosophical problem. So I would love for you guys to kind of brainstorm as I talk some of this through. Hopefully, you were able to even take some of the problems that I wrote down and think, yep, my customer has that, my clients have that, my potential people that I want to market to have that, and start a list. Now, I like to have a list going at all times. I'm such a nerd that we have this for Oaks Creative House in a Google Sheet. And we write social media content based around these problems. We write email newsletters. I created this sales funnel based around problems that I hear people talk about. It's a massive marketing tool that I feel like a lot of people don't tap into, where in essence, it's really simple at the end of the day. If you know the people that you're working with or you know the people you want to work with, you should be able to come up with a few problems that they're facing in their life. And then as you continue down this mindset of being in tune with their problems, it's like when you buy a new car and you've like never seen that car before and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm the only one around here who has that car, and you drive literally down the road from the dealership and you see like 20 of them. So it's the idea that if you have something manifesting in your mind, the answers will come to you. So even if you're thinking through this, I need to be more in tune with my customers' problems. I kid you not, you're going to get a phone call tomorrow with someone saying, hey, I really want to come shop at your store, but I have 3 little kids at home and I need to buy a gift for a wedding. How do I do that? Right? Or they're saying, man, my dress shop that I bought my wedding dress from just canceled my order. They have nothing. They can't even help me. I don't know what to do about it. And you're saying, okay, that's a problem that you're facing right now, and I need to think about what the solution is. Or Stacy, I'm sure that you hear problems all the time. Brooke, this is not new for you. You're going to be able to like jot down problems all the time. So external, internal, philosophical. If anyone has questions about that, feel free to comment. As you notice, I'm like a squirrel and I get really distracted, but I want to answer some of those things in real time because I think it's important for a a lot of times the question that you're thinking about asking, everyone else is thinking about too, so somebody just needs to raise their hand and ask it. Okay, so when you think about the problems first, that becomes part one of your one-liner. You're going to talk about their problem. So what I would encourage you to do is start a list and then go back and circle the one that stands out in the biggest way, the one that gets you to your goal. If your goal is to build a sales funnel or is to build up your email list, and one of the problems that you wrote down is that they feel like they don't have the knowledge to make good decisions, you need to be emailing them and giving out lead generators to build up that knowledge, because all that will do is build up trust in you. If the goal is to drive more people to your group, and the problem that they're facing is that they just don't want to say yes to something that they don't understand. It's this almost like fear of, will people be gross in that group? Like, is everyone going to be hateful? Or what is that group really going to be like? Paint a picture for them. Paint a picture for them of what that looks like, and that you recognize some of those problems. A lot of groups, you just feel like you're being sold to all the time. So we don't do that here, if that's what you want to paint the picture for. So address their problems head on. Problem is part one of your one-liner. Okay, so part two is where you come in. Part two is where you talk about the solution. So you're stating their problem and you're saying, hey, customer, I really understand that it's hard to think about spending this amount of money on this thing that I'm asking you to do. Maybe on estate planning, right? That's a thing that you're planning for way out in advance. And that's hard to think about spending this amount of money towards this thing. Well, what is the solution that you have for them? Maybe it's letting them know what the true value of doing an estate plan is. Maybe it's letting them know that they don't have to pay it all up front, that it's done in 3 payments and it's spread out over 3 months. Something like that. If their problem is that timing is an issue, like, I don't have time to run around to all these stores and try to decide which thing I want to buy. I need to be able to do some pre-work, right? That's how I like to shop. I go in person, but I like to snoop around a little bit and make sure that it's worth my time to go into that building. Because time is valuable too. And you guys should know that your customer's time is valuable. So if that's the case and timing is an issue for them, then what solution are you bringing to the table for timing? It could be the fact that, oh, well, if you go to this group, you can see a lot of our products posted. Or if you go on our website, you can see a good selection of the products that we have, so you can get an idea of what you're shopping in person. Or it could even be a timing issue in terms of the hours that you work. So it could be, I typically don't do things in the evenings at all, but you guys said in the poll that you would rather do evening lives. So that's what I did. I pivoted and we're making evening lives happen, right? So it could even be timing as far as when are you available to them. Yes. So what if their problem is that they don't have what it takes? This is really important when it comes to coaching of any kind, because I've really found that people are fearful that they'll show up to the thing. They may not even mind paying the money, but they're worried that they'll show up to the thing and not be able to do the work that's called on to do. Because it's a 2-part process, right? If you're coaching somebody, you're not doing it for them, you're leading them through. So helping to squash those fears and saying, maybe the solution is that we have a step-by-step plan for you to follow. So we're not just going to give you 3 things to do and then leave you in the dark. We're going to really walk you through what that looks like and guide you through every step of the way. Maybe it's laying that out a little bit for them in advance so that they can get a clear picture of what that actually looks like. Okay, so you found your one big problem. Then you come in with, what is your solution that you're bringing to the table for that big problem? And don't get too wordy when it comes to your solution. it's really important because maybe you're a lawn care company and the problem is that everyone else's grass on the block is green except for yours, and you can never keep up with the mowing, and it's a lot of labor to take care of your own lawn, and have you just don't have it. You don't want to do it. You don't have time for it. You'd rather pay somebody to do it, right? But if you as a lawn care company come in and you're like, and the solution is that 6 times a year we're going to spray your lawn for bugs, and then we're going to fertilize it so it turns green, but then we're going to do this aerator treatment I just learned about the other day to fix this problem, and we're going to mow every week, and we're going to blah 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 blah, and you're talking about 20 solutions at that point. You're not talking about one solution. And that's really important. So the solution actually is we're going to show up, we're going to take care of all of it for you so you don't have to worry. And then if someone says, but how do you do that? That's when you have content ready to go on your landing page that says, we do this through, insect treatments, fertilizer treatments, mowing and edging, landscape design, sprinkler installation. Like, we have all of these services that allow us to say, we can just take lawn care needs off your plate if you're stressed and you're worried and you don't have the time for it. So think about the solutions that you bring to the table. And if you need to write out all 20, write out all 20. But think about when they go into your one-liner, they need to be simplified enough for your client to not have to think, oh my gosh, that was way more overwhelming than I wanted it to be. So don't get too worried. But let's talk about the third part for a one-liner. And this is actually my favorite part. So this is all about the result that your clients or your customers are going to have in the end after they've said yes to your solution. So what we're doing is we're creating tension, right? So we talked about a problem, and you're like, oh, that is a problem. That does suck to do. Let's say it's maybe finances. Like, if you're a financial advisor for a small business or you're a bookkeeper, it's like, nobody wants to do their own finances for their business. It's gross. And the solution is, and we can come in and do it for you. And if you leave it at that, then everyone's like, okay, that's nice. And that's it. And that's all that they think, and they never click on your thing, because what has happened is you've never resolved that for them. They still have this feeling inside of them that they're like, yeah, it's still a problem. That's still a problem. So think about, what does the end result look like? What happens after they've done the thing with you? Is it that they can give the gifts that they've always wanted to at weddings? Is it that they don't have to spend hours and hours and days and weeks going to every bridal shop in the city, that they can come to you and find the dress of their dreams, and then you're gonna deliver it to them and stress-free? What does that look like afterwards? Courtney, I know you said, aren't you happy that this whole process of finding your dress is over? There you go. There's your result. And you get to know that this item on your wedding to-do list is checked off. Done. And that feels amazing to any bride, let me tell you. It's been a few years, but I still remember that feeling. So what is the result? What does the end look like? What does the after look like? That's really important. So now that we've created the tension with the first couple parts, now we're telling them, here's what it looks like when you're finished. And this is where you show them success. And you say, wasn't that great? I think the result for my step-by-step process for my one-liner is, and you love your brand again. And that's huge, whether they're doing marketing with me, whether we're doing a logo or branding, whether we're doing a website. What happens is you kind of fall out of love with your business and the way that you're presenting yourself, because you're trying to do all the things, or you worked with somebody who didn't deliver. There are so many problems around this, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I found the right person. I'm really excited about my business again. That's what I want people to feel after they've worked with me. I want them to get excited about it too. I love when I get off the phone with somebody and they send me an email afterwards and they're like, I was up all night and I was thinking, and there was all these things that I brainstormed, and what do you think of this? And what do you think of this? And what do you think of this? Um, Even if half of those ideas don't pan out and they don't work, it doesn't matter, because what happened is in their mind, they went through a transformation and they decided, I love what I do enough that I want to take it back a little bit and brainstorm and figure out why it is that I love this and how to make it amazing. So, what does that end result, success, look like for your business? So, let's kind of lay out the, back it up. Okay, I have some examples of success. So, if you had trouble coming up with what that success is, a couple examples for you could be less stressed, that they're not alone, they now have a sense of community, that they have a team that's on their side, that they have systems that work for you. I don't know if Yvonne's on here, but she's a virtual assistant. So huge. If the result is all your stuff works, that's big. That they can grow their business. Beautiful memories that last a lifetime. That's huge for photographers. A home that they're proud of. Lisa, that's a great one for you. That's a great success, that they feel like they could host the dinner party or have people over, not have all the blank walls. A dog that isn't embarrassing around their guest. If you're a dog trainer, that's a big one. Peace of mind surrounding their finances if you're an accountant. That they didn't have to make it themselves. I wrote this one down for my mom at the Sugar Shack. Nobody wants to make their own kid's birthday cake unless they're amazing Pinterest mom. And knowing that they could put that trust into someone else and that they would get an amazing, creative birthday cake that also tastes awesome and is going to be done on time and through someone that they really can trust. Huge. And the result of that is that they didn't have to make it. And that's awesome. Finding a true partner in their healthcare. If you're a healthcare clinic, we have a couple of those in the group. So there's a couple examples of what success could look like. So what is a one-liner? Let's take it back to basics. What is a one-liner? Problem, success, end result. When you put those three things together, that becomes your one-liner. Now, you're probably looking at me and you're like, okay, I can find a problem. I can find a solution, and I can find what that result looks like at the end. But how do I actually make it into a one-liner? That's absurd. Like, how do we craft the wording? How do I put it together? I'm not a professional copywriter, right? You don't need to be. You don't need to be. I think that the key is to write it all down and to look at it over and over and over again until you have something that you are happy with. Now, I know some of you are going to be able to be like, oh my gosh, I have figured out my one-liner, and you're going to post it into the group in an hour, and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, nailed it. And others of you are going to really struggle with how to put that together, and most likely it's going to be really long and wordy at the first, because you're going to say the problem that you face is that you're really stressed out trying to be a mom to 3 kids, and now you have a newborn on the way, and I can do your pictures, so that's your solution. And then the result you're going to have is memories that last a lifetime, right? So it's too wordy, it's too long, there's too much going on. But the only way to really resolve that is to take another pass at it, to walk away from it, to craft it into something that does then sound good. Now, that brings me to kind of how to put things together, and I have a few examples of one-liners to tell you. So one of the ways that you can kind of put these 3 parts together, problem plus solution plus result equals one-liner. So one of the ways that I like to think about this is before you get to the result, just add in the words which results in ... result. It kind of helps to connect the dots and saying, oh, problem, and we have solution, which resulted in blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I have a couple of examples of one-liners. This one is from like a campground, like a KOA or a lake or somewhere with a campground. And it says, many families struggle to spend time together, But at our campgrounds, time stands still and families create connections that last a lifetime. So, problem, families struggle to spend time together. Solution, at our campground, you've escaped it all. You're away from all of that and you are together. You've made the decision to spend time together. The result from that is that you're making connections with your family members that are going to last a lifetime. It's those deep s'mores conversations, right? It's the ones that you remember forever from now. That's what they've created in their one-liner. Yes, actually, I really do like that. She said, what do you think about, she's a photographer. What do you think about be present? These moments don't last forever. Oh, that tugged my heartstrings, and I'm not even a crier. Um, I really think something along those lines, even if you reword it a little bit, could be amazing to really let them know what that end result looks like. Okay, so another example would be, let's say, a dentist. So a dentist may say most parents get stressed out when they think about taking their child to the dentist. At blah 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 dentistry, our fun and welcoming office puts kids at ease so they aren't afraid and parents can actually enjoy their visit. So the problem is that kids hate going to the dentist and it makes parents really stressed. And the solution is that this place has made their office really fun and really inviting and super kid friendly, right? And the end result is that kids are no longer afraid to go to the dentist. And as a parent, you can trust that they're in good hands and enjoy that visit yourself. That's an amazing one-liner. No, Brooke, a one-liner isn't necessarily a single sentence. One-liners and taglines get confused a lot. A tagline is like the few words that go under your logo that often are kind of really, they're kind of phasing out, to be honest. A lot of people aren't using taglines anymore because a lot of times they're so vague that nobody knows what you're talking about. Like, okay, you didn't even actually tell me what you did. So, no, a one-liner doesn't have to be a single sentence. I've seen them as long as a paragraph. I think that's too much for people to read. It's a short statement. Well, it's a one statement, maybe not a one-liner. Okay, as an example for a long one, I went ahead and pulled kind of my short statement about this group. So we say often, sometimes being an entrepreneur can feel like there was some club that you weren't invited to. Like everyone else got the keys to the kingdom, but you didn't. That's why we created a Facebook group just for entrepreneurs like you to join together in a community over competition mindset. A place where you can remember why you fell in love with your business in the beginning. So that would be an example of a really long one-liner, and it's not the main piece of my business, so that's okay. And I like to think of things like this as once I know the rules, I can willfully break them. I can make a decision to break it if I feel like I have a good reason to. So right there in that one-liner, I'm going to call it a one-liner. The problem that I'm saying is that it's lonely to be an entrepreneur. We've all felt that, right? And the solution is that I created this group for us to be in and that we feel like community over competition is big. And the end result, that transformation, is that you remember why you fell in love with your business in the beginning. Because you have the support of other people who want to love your business too, right? So that's an example. Another one that's an example for me, this is one that the coach that I hired helped me come up with. We said, are you ready for a change from trying to do it all yourself or agencies who don't really get your brand? Oaks Creative House can do it all for you, your brand, and your business. Isn't it time to work with a true partner who believes in your success? So the problem is that you're either doing it yourself, marketing or design, right? That's what we're talking about here. Or you've worked with an agency who doesn't really get it. They don't know how to work with small businesses. They're used to saying, oh yeah, have your marketing team, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, it's me in my garage. I don't have that to give to you. So they don't really get it a lot of times. The solution that I'm saying is I can do it all for you. For you, I offer coaching. for your brand in terms of the look, and for your business, sales funnels, things that are going to produce. Isn't it time to work with a true partner who believes in your success? So that's the result, but I asked it as a question, which I thought was kind of fun. So by asking it as a question, I'm saying you deserve to have success in your business. And I believe you're going to have that after you work with me. So I'm asking that as a question to get their mind thinking. I recently hired a fantastic copywriter to help me with a nonprofit website. So I want to give the example of their one-liner to you too, because it was awesome. They are a special needs school in Tulsa, and they do so much more than just teaching. It's like physical education, it's all Christian-based education. I toured their facility and I was just blown away. It was incredible. So he wrote, "Your child can live life to the fullest. Tuition-free Christian education and therapeutic services for children with special needs and their families." So he didn't necessarily talk about the result, but I feel it when I read that sentence. Your child can live life to the fullest. And they're talking to parents who have special needs kids. And that's really huge. That's really huge. And the solution that they have, they actually did combine several solutions: tuition free, Christian education, and therapeutic services. But there he did it in 2 sentences. Very short, very concise. Now, you read my one-liners versus someone who specializes in copywriting all day, every day. I tend to be a lot more wordy, and I want you to know that's why I gave those examples, that's okay too. I still convert people from my website. They still buy from me, even though it was a little bit wordy, but I would think the goal is to shorten as much as you can. So, questions. What questions do you guys have for me? Throw them in the comments. We have a few more minutes that we could do kind of a Q&A. I know until someone has really helped lead this through your business and your specific customer problems, solutions, the end result, crafting it into this great sounding sentence could be really hard and daunting. So I want you guys to know that I'm going to ask you, and I'm asking now, to post your one-liners in the group for feedback. But if you don't have a one-liner all set out together, post where you're at, because I can help you with that specific to your business. If it's that you have a problems list and a solutions list, but you can't come up with that results, we have people here who would love to help you brainstorm what that result looks like. If it's that you have a start of a one-liner, but you can't put all the pieces together in a way that sounds great, I know for a fact we have multiple copywriters within the group that would probably see that and think, well, let me fix this for them and comment back to you. So don't be afraid to post something no matter where you're at. Ashley, your one-liner should be on your website. It should be used in email marketing. It should be used in social media. It's a way to remind people. For instance, depending on the one-liner you came up with, you could use it in like customer client follow-ups or a variation of it. I like to think of one-liners almost as like a mini core value in a way. So you're making clarity around what you do and what problems you solve, but it kind of becomes this core piece of content that you craft other things around. So for instance, if we go back to the special needs school in Tulsa, they said your child can live life to the fullest, tuition-free Christian education and therapeutic services for children with special needs and their families. You could take that and think, this is a foundational piece for my business or my nonprofit in this case. You could take the one statement about tuition free and write 15 social media posts about being tuition free and what that means, what that looks like. How can you be tuition free? Oh, we do that through donors. You can ask for donations. It becomes the basis for a lot of things that you do. But the primary piece that it's used in full is on your landing page, on your website. So thanks for asking that question. Perfect. Okay. So that's the challenge that I have for you, and I want to keep anyone over an hour, and we're almost to that point, even though I'm happy to hang out and answer questions. Post your one-liner in the group for feedback. I will be giving personal feedback too. I've crafted a lot of one-liners, and like I said, we have several copywriters in the group who I'm sure would put their eyes on that as well. Also, I think just a third-party perspective around any problem that you're trying to solve is huge, is really big, because you could just be too close to the thing that you're looking at to really grasp what solution may be kind of staring you in the face. The great wording for your one-liner may be right there. You're just almost there, but it's not quite. So any sort of third-party perspective is good. So in the follow-up email that you guys are going to get tonight, if you signed up for the Sales Funnel Challenge via email, if you didn't, I'm going to send that out about 7:30, so you still have some time to click the link in the group and sign up for that. I actually gave several tips in there on how to get constructive criticism and feedback around your one-liner, and how to take it from kind of like messy writing, thoughts all over the place, and craft it into something that works. It's a different journey for every person, so I put a few different tips that I've seen work in there. So don't worry if after listening to me ramble for an hour, you didn't come up with a one-liner that really you feel really proud about. Go ahead and post it anyway so that we can all see it and give you feedback. That's why this is a challenge and not a training. So let me see what else is on my notes here for you guys. Okay, tomorrow. So tomorrow at 5:30, again, same time, same place, we are going to talk about landing pages. Now, it is kind of important to be thinking about your one-liner before you get into the landing page, because we're going to talk to about some other pieces that go on your landing page that are a spin-off of that one-liner. But I'm really excited about tomorrow. I'm going to try to do a screen share and show you guys some landing pages that work really well. I think that, seeing it in person from other examples, it is really hard to find examples that are exactly what I'm talking about, but I'll find some that I can show you guys. So tomorrow at 5:30, we'll be talking all about landing pages. If you do have technical questions about landing pages, like should I do Wix over Squarespace, or what WordPress setup should I do for this or that, feel free to ask those questions in the group. I probably won't talk much about that in the live itself, because I really want to focus on the content for your landing page. So I know that when it comes to anything websites, most everyone, their brains immediately dump into how can I make that website happen? And you're so worried about the technical part of making that happen. That's not what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about how to grab a pen and a paper and lay out what your landing page is in a way that converts people from followers to customers. The methodology behind how that should be done. So I don't want you to focus so much on like, how do I buy a domain name and make my email work and that kind of stuff. I want you to really dive into what you're saying on your website. That's really important, because that is the basis for everything that converts people into customers. So thank you so much for joining me on the Sales Funnel Challenge Day 2. I hope one-liners weren't too overwhelming. I really am not trying to be a salesperson. I think every salesperson says that, but I have a workbook that I emailed you guys about. It literally lays out creating your one-liner. So if you are like me and you really want to follow along with something that makes sense, you guys can get that for half off. So it's only $7.50 on my website, and it has everything about creating a sales funnel in a DIY workbook for you. So if you got a little bit lost with me talking today and that would be helpful, check your email, because that may be something that's really helpful for you to follow along. So I'm excited that you guys were all here today, and thank you for asking awesome questions, and I will be back tomorrow to talk all about landing pages. See you soon.